2 translators here also. We have 1 translator over here with American Sign Language. And over here of Spanish translator as well. So if you do kind of figured out here, including current resident, we'd need a note taker. Do we have anyone that'd be willing to take notes?
Do you need it? No, I just wanted to take it
during this meeting? If not, I can probably.
Anybody willing to do notes?
Okay.
I'm taking notes, but I don't have much space to write.
We have a whiteboard for also like big picture notes.
Well, maybe for smaller notes that we want. Or, I don't know, what do you think? I can give you my laptop maybe and you can type it up. Would that work? Sure. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then a timekeeper, and the role of the timekeeper is to make sure that if somebody is speaking to something that we're allowing time for others to speak during this meeting as well. And a timekeeper is going to be the person to make sure that, we're kind of keeping it close to 2 minutes per testimony and per statement, so everyone has a chance to speak. And, all right. And we have a sign-in sheet also that's being passed around, so pay attention to the sign-in sheet. Okay. So to start off, I want to introduce Anna, who is a part of Housekeys Action Network Denver. And she is also a current resident at Quality Inn, and she will tell you a little bit about her experience to start off.
All right, well, thank you guys for all coming out, residents and community members. My name is Anna. I'm also a member of HAND, and basically our meeting today is, well, to put it the best, they're basically kicking us all out on the 16th. So basically, we're just going to hopefully try to figure out something for the people who have nowhere else to go. Some people, I myself, I'm okay, but I wanted to make certain, because these people were like family to me, that we get them somewhere that's not a shelter. These people have had illnesses that are chronic, and basically we were promised housing originally, and they're not even fulfilling that, but now they're just putting us on the streets. So with that, thank you again. Let's see what we can try to figure out, because this is just not right. These people should be housed, not going to shelters. Thanks.
Amen. Thank you, Anna. I'm just going to give a quick summary of the situation that we're in right now in terms of the fight and the advocacy for housing. So we as HAND talked to 39 residents about their housing situation. And 87% of those people didn't have housing or anything lined up for the coming closure. We then got more data from the city showing similar numbers, that out of 153 people, 120 don't have anything lined up. So we went to city council, we spoke to them, and residents spoke to city council and to the media about the housing situation and the need.
That's why we're here. That's why we have to gather. Together, united we stand. So, that's why we're here.
We understood that. And so then we demanded a meeting with Host and with the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless. The residents and hand, we all met with Host and with the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless.
Quiere decir que la coalición de los jóvenes para ayudarnos a nosotros mismos, para reunirnos para que nos den una vivienda, para ayudarnos unos a los otros.
And at that meeting, Host and the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless basically said, F you, go to shelters.
Si te vas a un shelter, ellos te van a ayudar a la explicación que pasaron mucho sufrimiento y no te.
They gave no willingness to work together on solutions. The problem solving, the solutions that we wanted to discuss at that meeting, they didn't leave space to talk about.
El meeting que estamos haciendo ahora mismo quiere decir que no estamos reunidos para ayudarnos uno al otro, ahora estamos reunidos porque nos ayudamos.
And so at the end, the residents and us, we all sat together and talked about solutions.
Una solución que tenemos es para reunirnos para ver los problemas de cada uno.
And so we want to spend our time at this meeting now talking more about those solutions.
So, la solución es que estamos reunidos para cada uno que habla la experiencia que tenemos en cada uno.
Because there are solutions. There are ways that the city and the coalition and the larger community could come together and ensure that everybody is moving into a safe housing instead of moving to the streets or shelters.
La solución que estamos aquí es para que nos ayudemos uno al otro y por eso estamos reunidos para ayudarnos uno al otro. Entonces, housing, that's what we're here to help each other.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn it to V to just briefly read some of the solutions we talked about. And then we're going to hear from residents. And then we're going to talk larger about strategy around these solutions and more.
Quiere decir, la solución que estamos reunidos aquí nosotros es para ayudarnos uno al otro. Estamos reunidos para ayudarnos. La solución es estamos reunidos para ayudarnos uno al otro.
Okay, so if everyone can turn their attention to the back of the page of the agenda,
En la parte de atrás de la hoja,
it shows the proposed solutions that Hand, along with hotel residents, came up with, and ones that also were inspired by community members who reached out to us after the press conference, saying that they had opportunities and ways that we could, they wanted to support and help residents. So, first, we discussed extending the hotel contract until December. Now, that is, there were rumors that the hotel was getting shut down, that the physical building was getting shut down. The city and CCH did not confirm any of that. They said the only reason they didn't extend the stay of the hotel.
dice que la ciudad, que no están seguros que hagan eso, porque nosotros ven, pasamos por mucho.
They said the only reason they wouldn't extend it is because of the lease that was already in place, and that they wanted to stagger the timing of the hotels. And the result of that, of course, is prematurely kicking out a third of the people from all these protective action hotels, right? So from three main ones that went to closing, the largest. And also the largest hotel, right? So we're still suggesting that extending it is a viable way to make sure that people who are waiting for housing will be able to still have a stay for a little bit longer. Now, we also asked the city to identify which properties could be master leased, something that they've done in the past, bought or rented to Quality Inn residents at affordable rates at 1/3 of income. We also talked about utilizing temporary hotels while securing the contract for the city to buy existing hotels. One of which is the Stay Inn, which the city is supposed to be closing on this year. We discussed investigating utilizing bridge housing vouchers to secure immediate temporary housing. So a lot of these are things that the city does have, resources they have. They also have contracts that they have not activated, but are in place with a lot of other partners. We want to also investigate availability at other hotel locations like Roadway, and investigate availability at other CCH properties, both current and upcoming, including the new building behind Stout Street Health, Fusion Studios, and other properties. So instead of, investigating current projects for availability, they have been blanket telling people to go to shelters, and that if they don't leave before the 16th, if they don't leave starting as early as yesterday, that they wouldn't have a shelter bed secured for them, and they wouldn't have transportation. So talking about those contracts that they could be activating. Activate a contract with Hometown Studios locations. This is a hotel that reached out specifically to us after seeing the press release and said they have a contract with the city and they're just waiting for it to be activated. They have 3 locations. They were moved by the stories of residents. And it just hasn't been activated. And we also asked that they activate a contract with another group that reached out to us, a social enterprise group. What they do specifically is they help navigate housing for people with vouchers. And speaking of which, after I finish this list, we're going to cut to somebody who also has some availability in terms of housing with vouchers. So we have someone here to talk about that. So again, these are resources that are available. Provide additional support for bilingual Spanish-speaking and sign language case managers to support non-English speakers and the deaf. So this was something that was brought up, that there are people with a lot of intersectional identities at the hotel that don't have resources to be able to find the housing and to be able to transition to a safe place. We are also aware that married couples from, spanning between married for 4 years to 14 years, people have been together. These couples are being told to separate and go to different locations. And we are asking that they investigate more options to keep couples together. Provide more case managers. For 157, I believe, 153 people, they had 5 case managers. 2 of them quit. So clearly the case managers are overworked and under-resourced. Secure a mail option to receive mail so that Quality Inn residents can make sure that their mail is received. This has been another barrier because people have not been able to finish applications or receive, important notices in time. We need to allow residents to speak about their housing needs. This was brought up because specifically at the meeting, the City and Colorado Coalition were not going to allow residents to share their individual stories, saying that this was violating privacy laws, which it wasn't.
Dice ella que si hay privacidad, si estamos juntos, ayudamos nosotros, pero la housing es cosa que siempre está.
So, for sake of time, I do want to introduce someone who came here with resources available, who really quickly, and she wants to let folks know about housing opportunities for people who do have vouchers, because we have a large number of people who have housing vouchers but don't have a place to go. So we're going to hear from her, and then we're going to open up and hear more from residents about their situations.
Hi everybody, glad you all can make it out here. My name is LJ. I'm a property manager with Archway Communities. We are a nonprofit housing resource in Colorado. We also offer wraparound support services at all of our properties. We have food banks, we have mental health resources, we have addiction resources, and we refer people for healthcare resources and things like that. We have case managers at all of our properties. So we currently have 5 properties in the Denver metro area with openings. And if you have a voucher, you can probably get into this housing. We are housing first, nonprofit. We don't believe in barriers to housing outside of those big 5 ones that DHA might deny you for. We pretty much have the same criteria to a degree. I have brought some flyers with me today that have listings of 8 currently units that are available at 4 different properties. These range from 1 to 3 bedrooms. Some are 1 bedrooms, townhomes, 2 bedrooms. They range anywhere from the 30 to 60% AMI. However, if you have a voucher, it doesn't matter what your income comes in at, right? You will get approved. You don't have to do the 2 times rent and all that if you have a voucher, okay? Your voucher will approve you income-wise. You just have to pass the background. And again, like I said, it's only the major things, the same things that DHA would deny you for on a background that we would deny you for, okay? The community I manage is right next to the St. Francis Center. They are our partner. It is a permanent supportive housing building. I unfortunately can't take any outside applicants because they're all referrals from One Home and HMIS. So I know your frustration when it comes to the application process, working with navigators, and the timeline. So I just want to remind everybody, it is very, very important that you are document ready. That is one of the #1 barriers to getting you approved to move into not just one of our apartments, but any other low-income apartments. You've got to be document ready. Don't wait for your navigators to do it for you. Do as much as you can on your own as well. Okay? So I've printed some of these flyers. I'm going to leave them here, and if you're interested, you can grab one. I encourage you to go to our website, which is archwaycommunities.org. It has a listing of all of our properties. And I have put the contact information with the communities that do have openings. Please reach out to them directly, to that property manager. Let them know that you are coming from Quality Inn via LJ, and they will immediately try to start working with you, especially if you have a voucher. Okay? So I will leave these flyers here for everybody. And also keep your eyes peeled on our website or contacting the properties, because we have units come available quite often. And again, we're housing first. We don't really believe in barriers to housing. We want to, everybody deserves to have a home, period. Thank you.
Is there a way that folks can follow up with you, or do you want them to follow up with us, call you, or how?
Anyone that wants to follow up, I would suggest you stay in contact with the property manager at the respective property that you're interested in. Or you can follow up with me. My email is ljp@archwaycommunities.org. Again, unfortunately, my community can't take outside applicants, but all of our others do. In particular, at one of our properties, flats at Two Creeks, we have 2 one-bedrooms available right now for HUD-VASH for veterans. If you have a HUD-VASH worker, have them give us a call. We'll get you in with that HUD-VASH voucher right away. Okay? Thank you.
Is that the right email?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And now we would love to hear from any residents who want to share with community members about their personal story and their situation.
Again, that's just the change. And then I just put
Okay. Hi.
Hello, I'm Don. See most of y'all, whatever. But just briefly, I was brought to Quality Inn. I was 2 years ago, September 25th, the first one at the height of COVID. It was a mass shooting. I was the only survivor. I was shot 5 times. I was left dead in my doorway. When I got out, when I woke up out of a coma and I was getting well, they said they had a cab for me to go to my house. And I was like, what house? So they were trying to send me to the same house that I got shot in the doorway. So there wasn't an alternative, so that's how I ended up there. Now, the same people that may have, I have a lot of anxieties and stuff. That's like when I came, I was standing way over there first and kind of, just looking. Now, putting me in a shelter is possibly these same people because these people have never been caught. Could be there. So those types of things run through my mind. I have a lot of problems with my legs and stuff. They swell up from time to time. I woke up in time they were gonna amputate them. It was so bad and stuff like that. And I worked my way through getting better. Like I said, the outside, may seem normal, but I was shot in the head. Sometimes I blank out and I'd be on the bus going to Walmart and I'd be way in Littleton somewhere, and the bus driver would finally say, hey, are you trying to go somewhere? I'm trying to go to Walmart. He was like, well, that was about 4 miles down that way. We passed 2 or 3 of them. And so it's really kind of scary to go into a shelter or something like that. Like I said, being the only survivor of first mass shooting, September 25th. So this is the anniversary of it coming up. And I really do have a problem with being in a shelter or something like that. That it's really scary. So me, I'm hoping that something could come up. I do have a little job, and I do have a little bit of resources as far as money wise, and I've been looking to possibly find maybe a basement apartment or a 1-bedroom apartment or something to that effect. So if anybody has any solutions to the situation, they approved me a voucher. It was for Monday. On Friday they denied me, and they just said it all of a sudden. And then all of this, we got to move out stuff. So, I'm not a big worrier, but as far as going to a shelter, it does kind of make me wonder, like, because they don't know who did this. Them people could be in there or anything. So that's just a little bit about me and what I'm possibly trying to do. Like I said, I have the resources. I can afford, a studio or something like that. It's just not, I just need to find somewhere that will possibly, kind of run through the situation and understand where I'm coming from. And that's it. Like I said, from time to time, my legs swell up and different things, and I get like an elephantitis, and I can't walk that much. But for the most part, hopefully we can come up with something. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That is a very powerful story. I'm very glad you're here. And we're going to talk about some options to support. Anybody else want to share theirs? We'll probably do maybe one or two other people, and then we'll transition into discussing solutions and strategizing. If anybody else wants to speak?
I do.
Are you a resident of Quality Inn?
Yes, let me say something.
Well, I mean, puedes hablar para ella, porque ella es una
Ella, eche para acá.
Would you like to share your story?
And you see, I've been homeless for a long time. I've been here for 35 years in Denver. I've been to a lot of experience. You know, I was in the rain, in the river, you know, cold, you know, in the tunnel, you know. But it's in love. One my bro always protect me. And you know what? That's why I love homeless. We are united together. Reunited. Yeah, we're supposed to help each other. Never stepping another homeless. I don't say blame nobody, but man, you know, Jesus is beautiful. You know, faith is the best ever. You know, I'm never gonna step in another homeless. Actually, I have been another homeless. You know, I've been through a lot in my life. But you know what? That's why I'm here to help each other. We're here.
Thank you. That is why we're here. We are here to help each other. We are here to support one another. And together with collective community power, we can do that. So, if nobody else wants to speak on their personal stories, then, okay. Okay, yes. Are you a resident of Quality Inn?
No, I'm not. I'm not a resident of Quality Inn. But I just came out just to pray for those out at the Quality Inn. As a unhoused resident, unhoused female, I do understand the power of faith and prayer. And it's said in the scriptures that Jesus said, he said, foxes have dens, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to rest their head. And in a time right now where there is a serious issue with unhoused individuals, and we have a responsibility to look after the ones who are unable. It says the foreigner, the fatherless, the widow, the oppressed, the disabled, the ones who are not able. We have a responsibility. I just wanted to know that there's a correlation with the high homeless rates in each state that has legal cannabis money. I would like to know, where is the tax money going? It was supposed to be going towards unhoused individuals. This is a lot of money. And it's in a lot of states where it's legal. Oregon, okay, Washington, California, Nevada, Colorado, with outrageous housing costs. How did that happen? Because they weren't able to deposit the money, it ran up the real estate. There is a correlation of what's going on, and a repeated pattern of behavior of the misuse of money, of tax money, of cannabis money. I want people to be very ever so clear, even though this is legal and it's needed medicinally, it's needed for a lot of reasons, but it's not used in a way that is beneficial to the ones who could benefit from the profit and the gain. I'm a registered nurse as well. Mental health is directly related to your ability to be able to have somewhere to sleep, eat, and have clean running water and bathing, and having clean clothes. All on Maslow's hierarchy of need, the necessities, and they should be taken care of. There's a lot of empty buildings and a lot of places where people can have a place to rest their heads and get cleaned up. And so there's a prayer that we all find a place to Shabbat, because he said, I've created a place for you. I have prepared a place for you. And let's go find that place, especially right now. My name is Don Quinique, and I'll be praying for everyone that God provides us a home, and one that we don't have to worry about anything except for getting the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
Well, all right. So for anything that's going to be posed to home for everyone, my name's Anna again. So basically, I'm going to tell you this. Before I went to the hotel system, and even while I was still there, I was raging alcoholic. I mean, I will admit that I drank Listerine. I was trying to kill myself. I was an addict. I have got a year sober coming up in the 25th of this month, and it wasn't until I got somewhere where I could stay and not worry about shit, because I will tell you now, every time I would start worrying, I'd just go start drinking again. So, if it can take my story, I'm getting housed, and I'm very, very grateful for that, but I'm just saying now, the more you put people in houses, the better everything's going to be, and I promise that for everything. People get off the streets, they stop doing drugs, they stop drinking heavily, they get their help. It just needs to be done. And for all of you who haven't been able to get help at the hotel, I'm trying, and I want you to know I'm doing everything I can to help you guys, and I really hope this works out, because you guys all deserve to be somewhere besides the fucking streets and shelters.
Okay, let's transition to talking about solutions. I think that we want to probably try to talk simultaneously about the best solutions, the ideal solutions, the ones that work for everybody, and also the immediate things that we know we can do that are not the best, but that's something that we know we can do. So anything in that range, from like the smallest thing to the biggest thing, is important and a part of this conversation. And you know, let's think about what we can do. Sorry, yeah.
Dice ella que no importa la situación que tenemos nosotros, la cuestión que despegue el Señor, porque estamos en una junta para ayudar.
Yeah, so let's think about what we can do as us as the community, and also what we need others to do, like the city or the coalition or others with that kind of power and resources. So thinking big, opening the floor. We've seen this list of solutions. Let's think about those and think about more. What can we do? Yeah.
I genuinely, the one hotel that has offered up, I'm loud enough. Clearly, that sounds like a great idea. They're willing and offering to. They've got the contracts. That's if I was correct, right?
I don't think that's correct.
Okay, but
They could.
They're open and willing to put us up, and truthfully, CCH is going to have to do something, because truthfully, they're not. This media coverage is making them look extremely bad.
Are you referring to the hometown suites or to the stay-in?
Which was the one that
Hometown Suites.
Hometown Suites.
Okay.
But the stay-in is another.
Yeah. But I mean, any hotel, like, we need to, if CCH is not going to renew that damn contract with that hotel, then they need to, they've got the money. They have the money. They can put everyone else in another hotel for at least the 3 months that they're giving everyone else at Aloft and everything. At least give them more time to find something.
I would encourage CCH to have their caseworkers contact every possible housing program in the metro area and ask about openings. We just learned about 8 available units.
You're absolutely correct. To my knowledge, none of your case managers have reached out to Archway Communities about our availability. Okay? And the only reason I'm here today is because I am friends with Don Kunik and Marianne on Facebook, and I was invited to come here today, and I was like, well, wait a minute, we have available units. You know what I mean? So, yes, they're understaffed. Yes, they're underpaid. Let's admit, you know, a lot of navigators are dealing with a lot right now. So I do encourage all of you to also take it into your own hands, to call these nonprofits and ask them about their availability. Do not wait for your navigator to do it for you. They're there to help you, but they are overwhelmed. And I definitely encourage you to reach out to the nonprofits. Rocky Mountain Communities is another housing nonprofit here. I used to work with them. They probably have openings as well. So take it upon yourselves to reach out because there is housing available. All right? Thank you guys for listening to me tonight.
LJ.
And those flyers are here if you'd like some.
Thank you. Thank you, LJ.
She sings too. Sorry, what was the other Rocky Mountain properties? You said Rocky Mountain.
LJ.
One of the things I think get us at hand to do is work with these navigators. Help all these people fill out applications. It's not that hard. We also can band together and start making calls to places that might have openings. I know 2 years ago when I helped house 8 people, I've had case managers tell me there's no openings anywhere. The Fusion had just opened. There's no openings at the Fusion. Why isn't there any openings at the Fusion if it's brand new? It's like you have to be persistent with case managers and with navigators. But I feel that us, especially us doing outreach, we could individually help you guys fill out the forms.
I think we need dedicated case managers that only do case management. They have second jobs, so they come and babysit us. They go to their working job, they go home, eat and sleep. They need dedicated case managers who can take the time to push for their clients, for their residents, and they're not taken away from that by a second job, and then a family, and then whatever else they might have going on. Dedicated case managers that are trained, not just put there for a paycheck and to babysit. I mean, I can sit there and take notes all day. What's your name? What's your serial number? What's your bank account? Okay. Put it in the mail, put it in the box, and be done. But somebody who actually knows how to manage and to get what each individual needs, and they are overwhelmed. They can't do it on 3, and if those 3 have other jobs and families. They need case managers who have been trained with our anxieties and our stresses. Each one of us has lost things. We've lost families, homes, cars, everything. All we have is a little Social Security, or maybe not even that. And for 7 years, I didn't have food stamps. So my Social Security was going to help family, and I couldn't eat the Salvation Army food, so I basically ate bread, crackers with mustard and ketchup on it. And finally, the case manager got me food stamps. But now, that's where it's ended. She's got 50 other people that she's got to find housing and food stamps and health care and who knows what else for each person. But the anxiety that we have and the anxiety that they have isn't working. We need dedicated, trained case management.
And to that point, the same survey we did, where we found out that only around 13% of people had housing lined up. We also found out 60% of residents are unhappy with their case management. And there's a link to the full report also on that agenda. Anybody else have?
I do have a question or a suggestion. What are the local colleges or universities of the students that are majoring in social work or case management? How was that? Pardon me?
Most of them are working while they're going to college.
Right, and so then, real quick, my whole thing is that because I'm a registered nurse, so there's a lot of what they call, I'm not sure if this works out in case management, clinical hours. And so even though they are working, they still have to satisfy enough time with the general public in order to become a professional. Those ideas, especially the young ones that are coming in, they are so fresh. They have not been eaten up by the system. This is not a very high-paying job. That's why they have multiple jobs. It's not a very they're not served by their paychecks, and the community is not very kind to them either. So what we could do is, I'm not sure what the local universities and colleges are doing, especially with the ones with a little bit of money and these board-rich children, give you something to do and use your resources, your time, your TikToks, and everything else that you know how to do to spread the wealth, literally, because there's plenty of it. It's Colorado. We serve a good God. There's enough for everybody. So what are the local universities and colleges, what are they doing to get their clinical hours, especially right now where they need it and they need places to get their clinical hours and to become professionals?
Reach out to local communities, local college students, university students.
Not just the students, but the directory head, the directors.
Directors of the departments. And get their students to volunteer with support.
So you bring up a great point, and I would like to say I think you would be a perfect candidate for something I'd like to call a liaison.
Yeah, I got a lot going on right now. Yeah,
it's
but
Iridessa is you, right?
Pardon me?
Are you Iridessa?
No, I'm Don Quinny.
I like you.
I like it. Thank you. Glory to God.
Glory to God in the highest. Peace on this lady right here.
Hi, my name is Patrick, and I'm deaf. And I had noticed that everywhere they do not have a lot of ADA, Americans with Disabilities accommodations, the ADA Act. So there's not a lot of that going along around here. We need a lot more support than that.
Okay, yeah, ADA support is the next.
So thank you. I just wanted to mention a little bit about it. I hope you understand, so thank you.
Yes. Okay, yes, so absolutely. So that was, yeah.
May I speak, please? Is that okay? I don't want to cut anybody off. I just good to say is important.
Here, yeah, let's trade. I got this.
What was the speaker just before? Say your name one more time.
Don Quinny.
Oh, Don Quinny.
Don Quinny.
Don Quinny. That is
DONQUICK. Don Quinny.
Okay. I will probably have to ask you that again. I think this young lady brings up a great point, and the speaker just prior to this wonderful person I'm glad to meet today brought up a good point that the case managers need to do only case managing. But here's the case manager, right? And we're all told not to have more than one case manager, as it can become ineffective and chaotic. One case manager. Here's our client, but that client is not the only client like them, though they are the only one that is just like them. There could be 50 to 100. Potentially look at Catholic Charities. You have a shelter at Smith Road with 80 beds. You had 3 case managers. It's not hard to figure out those folks had 50 people at least, right? Yes, okay. It can get very disheartening and kind of like sinking, kind of like drowning. Maybe they just kind of give up. Well, here we are. We're to go, hey, wake up. You know, I thought you're supposed to do things for people. Yeah, I have a dream about a liaison advocate. It would go like this. Here's the case manager. Here's the client. How about case manager, liaison, client? I'm obviously a good choice for that. So is B. Therese. Can I just call you Dominic? I swear.
Don Quinny.
Don Quinny. Ooh, it's like Clinique makeup. It's very expensive and beautiful, like you. Okay, thank you. I ain't gay, but I'm having a lesbian reaction right now to this pretty lady. But what I mean is, she'd be a good example. It's not for everybody, but the thing about it is, we can be for everybody. The position might not be for everyone, but we can be for everyone. Because divided we are. The book of Proverbs says, one person can easily be overcome. Two together can defend themselves. But a cord of three, come on girl, is not easily broken. And we're a cord of thousands. So let's get on one accord.
So that suggestion of having community advocates who are trained, or community liaisons, in some of the things that case managers can do, including just helping fill out applications, finding out what those applications are, that is something we've discussed. So that is something that's possible. We just need to know that there are people in the community who are willing to do that, and this is a short time frame also in terms of for quality in residence. This is something we have a bigger, broader picture. We do want to do this in the future with folks. We have to really think, what are the acute solutions right now?
Have you guys reached out to those big churches out in the like Centennial area of Colorado? They're really bored. They go all the way to different countries to help people. Yeah. Like one of them, South, I'm gonna put them out there. Front of the Range Christian Center Church, one of them, they're pretty awesome. I pray with them a lot. They're gonna appreciate this attention. And then also Southeast Christian Church. They have a huge storehouse of food, and they're going to appreciate this attention as well. Glory to God, because they're already they have decent amount of money. They know how to raise money quickly for situations that are far away from them, where you have local issues right here. And they got Teslas when they pull up in their Corvettes, and so I know that God would love them. James chapter, the whole book of James, have fun with that, to the fullness of the Gentiles. Tell them Dominique sent you, and I'll be looking forward to worshiping God with you. I pray in Jesus' name that you help.
Yes.
Could you give me the name of that church one more time?
I have Southeast Christian and Front Range.
Front of the Range. Front of the Range.
Okay.
And they're out. That's in Front of the Range is in Longtree.
Okay.
I'm acquainted with them for sure.
I agree with what you said, but the Catholics do more for anybody than anybody else.
Southeast Christian Center Church, they have a large storehouse of food, and that they have like big TVs and stuff, and they're able to reckon money really quickly.
Would you be able to help us bridge that connection, since you have connections like
I can email them, but it would be easier and if you can put my name on top. I have like a letterhead of something big.
Yeah, or we can even do an introductory email, and you can have us in that email as well, and then we can just be connected, and we can.
I could definitely do that, but
that would be
there's
awesome.
more, because I go in there and shake rooms.
Yes.
You're like, hey, you know what? You don't have to go to India. You can go right down the street.
Yeah, we do have another ministry, Ocean Wave Ministries, that reached out to us as well, and they were discussing fundraising. So if we are going to go down that avenue,
and I know they're able.
But if we go down the fundraising avenue, the question then becomes, who is responsible for managing the funds? How are we going to manage them? How are we going to appropriately, distribute and decide how to use it? So fundraising is something that, we can think of, but we want to also think,
And then also ask these people.
Agarra algo que Dios te dio del cielo, sepa usarlo, porque si no lo usa bien de corazón, Dios sabe que Él tira todo.
No sé, yo no sé.
But these large corporations too, especially these large churches, they know how to navigate and know what to do with money.
Yeah.
They're great stewards. They're supposed to be great stewards of money. That's how these communities of Christ exist. And then we be like, hey, we don't, I know that you may be thinking something of us. We're not here to just take from you, but you know your responsibility here. And this is a big show the world Show God you know how to share resources. Just show the heavens you know how to do it. At least help us. You know how. They know how to navigate money. They have their own accountants. They have their own. This is nothing new for them. What is new for them is actually now going to be like, we're going to just dead on work face to face with what it is that we kind of been trying to try to stay. Pardon me. To try to stay. Give me a second, sis. But how they could separate now, because they're looking for something to do. They don't know exactly what to do, but if we just like approach them in a way that is very like, look, this is more time than ever. When are we going to show? We're outside, and I know, and they pray about it. We do pray about it in each church. They always pray for the homeless. You got to do more than pray. You can't just say, like the book of James says, you can't just say, hey, be well with you. But faith without works is dead. This is faith in action. So then right here, put your money where your mouth is and go sell all your belongings.
I'd love to talk with you and draft that letter with you then.
Yeah.
And have the right wording.
I'm not good at putting things on paper, but I
can.
I am.
You we can figure that out. Yeah, and Shay can also.
What I mean is, as a Catholic, we're like a coalition of the willing. We're like a gang, son.
See, I'm not a Catholic or a Christian. I follow Christ, and that's different.
There's different.
That's a big difference.
That's all I need to know.
And so then, not only do we show up and ask them, but we also worship, because our help doesn't come from them. It comes from the one who actually blessed them to be able to help us. And so then we give thanks to what it is that I belong to.
I don't understand, but I'll just concur. The people who have the most to say about Catholic Church have probably never been to Mass. I'm just saying.
Just with a little bit of thought about
But no offense,
time.
sister.
So we have just a little over a week until the 16th when this hotel is closing. And so I want to think about two things in that time frame. Well, in addition to all this, this is all awesome. Like, let's think about all this. There's two other things I want to bring up. Sorry. So one of those things is the political pressure, the pressure that is needed to fight for an extension on the hotel and movement on solutions that could actually house all residents. And so that's one piece. And then the other piece is the 16th is coming fast, and we want to fight for housing for all these residents, and that might not happen. And if it doesn't, we still want to support each other. And so that probably means we're going to need to be able to help people move, to help people secure storage. Maybe people are going to need a tent. Maybe we don't know what sorts of needs there's going to be if it comes to 16th and there's no housing lined up. So I just want to put both those things on our radar so that when the 16th comes, we're prepared to respond. And that may be part of the fundraising, is that we need to be able to respond with those immediate needs. And then at the same time, use this last week to fucking push the people with the resources and the power that could extend the hotel stay until December 31st with no cost to themselves. The feds will pay for it until the 31st. Federal government pays all the way up until the end of this year.
Is that the petition?
That's a thing that can happen. And so
more meeting his name than it is.
So that's a real demand. And then in addition to that, with that time, there are options that could come open for all 120 people. So I just wanted to name those two things.
Y'all better believe.
Is there an option to talk about owning a home?
I have a question for thinking about the advocacy piece of extending the contract. So when the Aloft hotel contract was extended, it went through city council. So to extend this, does this have to go through city council or is it CCH?
No, because the contract is directly with CCH, not the city.
Okay. So that's who we need to be pressing on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
For so many bucks.
Other thoughts on those things about like, especially also from residents? Is there things that you're thinking about, like, oh fuck, like, yeah, what solutions would you like the community to help with, given what's coming up?
Like TSA, same money, same program. Can't say at the quality, why can't there be another hotel that we can go to? It doesn't make sense. The funds are obviously there.
So what was just suggested was that like I just want to clarify. You suggested putting pressure on availability at other hotels. Like pressure that would get about that. Okay.
Well, Andrew said
and the whole neighborhood knows them. I'll expose them. Wouldn't it be interesting if I questioned the city about how they would react to me perhaps bringing to light in a very public way that perhaps the hotel they contracted for COVID pandemic was not for the right reasons. Perhaps they had a broke down hotel. They saw an opportunity to make money and they took a contract.
Say that.
How do I know that? Because how they are operating with this right now. Yeah, 4 weeks is legal. Is it appropriate? Is it moral? Fuck no! Fuck no! I don't mean to become so furious, but this shit disturbs me on a spiritual level. I want to get very quiet. It makes me so upset. I get really weird. And if you want to get weird with me, I know that we all spoke at City Hall. And as of one voice, we lifted up our voice, and I would think maybe the threats we made, about adult protective services being contacted. I mean, really though, if a private caregiver had been in charge of any of these 189 people, this would be handled a different way. How do I know that? I'm a walking testimony to that. For 3 fucking years, I've been aggravated for no reason because I am the hotel, but I'm a private entity. I think they should be held to the same standards that, well, I am. And what I mean by that is within 24 hours, I know that the man with the heart monitor in the wheelchair, was he deaf as well, the man in the wheelchair with the heart monitor that was in the room in the tent?
Yes.
He got a housing voucher within 24 hours.
That one?
Heart monitor wheelchair. Okay, severely ill.
That was a different person then.
2 people, I believe, out of the 189 families, within 24 hours, the city contacted them and offered it to them. That couldn't have been because we were threatening to expose what they've been doing. I mean, on God, if they think they don't like the press coverage they had, just wait. There's more, and it's not necessarily a good thing. They won't like it, and neither will we. I think that's way more important right now. But we got to make sure that they understand that. So what I mean by that is, I've already spoken to Mikey and Dawn. Are they here right now? Mikey? I did promise to personally intercede for them, and if I can get a list of everyone on disability, I would be interested in threatening the city in a very, very strongly worded letter and like storming the castle. Like as many people on that list joining with me. Let's do it on Friday, like when they want to go home. Let's make them stay and listen to us, okay? We can show up at their office. Maybe I have a scheduled meeting. They don't know I'm going to bring 25 pissed off people with me. And let's talk. I promise, like the sky will be blue tomorrow. I can promise you the sky will be blue tomorrow. I can also promise you the sight of that will be unsettling for anyone who maybe thought they could ignore what they should do. Because let's be honest, maybe not everyone is in it just for the money. Sabrina Alley took 3 months to give us 7 pages of notes, so I think she might be in it for the money. But I know there's a lot of people that aren't, and it's going to affect them in a different way. They're going to check their own people. I believe in that. They will check their own people. It'll just spread. So again, if I can get that list by tomorrow, this time tomorrow, call the hotline, 701-484-2634. Say you remember hearing Shayna making a, what am I doing again? Being me, okay? I'm a woman of words, like so many fucking words, I know. but that you would like me to be given your contact information, as you are not only interested in having me intercede for you, but for perhaps even joining to storm the fucking castle. Fucking castle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a department, it's an office. Post is an office.
To that point too, you know, I want everyone to also be thinking about, you know, if you came here today, you came here as part of the community, right? You have circles of influence. You have connections and contacts. You have people that you work with, people you socialize with. Let's really try to expand and think in terms of our circles of influence. So,
there are some people at the hotel that perhaps seem reluctant. Maybe talk to them for us if you couldn't help it.
I was just wondering if anyone's talked to like medical providers to document like medical neglect in terms of like the discharge being not recommended by Medicare.
I can tell you from rumors that I've heard and just kind of undertalk, even the medical staff, they don't know what to do because they're like, this is a total shit show. That was some of their exact words. This is a complete and total shit show, and they're stuck.
well, maybe like
That's it.
Maybe getting that as a letter in writing, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a discharge letter. If no one has a discharge letter from a medical
As a former nurse, I know that there is a heck of a lot of money out there. It's called Medicare and Medicaid. Anybody who is on Medicare and Medicaid should get a letter from their doctor turning around and saying that it is detrimental to the person's health to go into a shelter, especially if you've got compromised immune systems. You're old. All these shelters are really dirty, nasty. We've documented meningitis, pneumonia, all kinds of things. Right, right then and there. I'm from Arizona. When I first came here, I could not understand how do doctors discharge to the street. In Arizona, that's a felony. You would have your license taken away. You would go to prison. And the same thing with the nurse. If I was, if you were my patient, I have to make sure all the documentation, this is, quote, a safe discharge. So maybe in the meantime, a lot of you can reach out to your doctors and say, hey, I need a letter immediately because I'm going to be on the street or I'm going to be in a shelter. They have got to listen. At least it's going to build up a case of medical neglect. And I think, I'm not a lawyer, but Julian could probably, look at this. It's like, why not turn around and hold these doctors accountable? These people should have been in nursing rehabilitation. They shouldn't even be worrying about a roof over their head when we taxpayers, everybody has paid into this fucking system for that. So why isn't it being used? Great point. Thank you.
I would love to hear people's opinion if that is something that people would want. Is that a discharge that you're okay with? Because a lot of people don't like nursing homes as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do know some people didn't want housing where they would not be allowed to leave the facility, where they felt they had their rights taken from them. That being said, some people did ask for assisted living as well. So I think there's both. So for the people who do want that option, yeah.
What assisted living homes are there for elderly people? I don't even know of them.
There's the apartment hotel. They used to work.
It's like a facility.
It's a facility.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Liz Stalmacher. I actually am a city council aide in the District 9 office. I know that the Quality Inn is in District 1, but we've worked with, our office has worked with different providers, and we went through this last fall with the closing of the Coliseum. This is something that host and service providers should have learned their lessons from over a year ago. So it's really hard to see this happening again, happening so fast. I actually just have some practical questions to what Therese was saying. So just so folks know, I don't want to speak for Reciprocity Collective, but I know Therese has reached out to Reciprocity. We've also reached out to Reciprocity to see if they can help with some of the case management, because one of the issues that LJ mentioned is they need people to go through the one home system, which means you need to have the VI-SPDAT administered, and social work students, frontline shelter workers are not qualified to administer the assessment to get you on the list for housing options. But there are other organizations that, if Colorado Coalition for the Homeless would kind of open up a little bit to let these other case managers jump in and help, they have the capacity to help. So we're working on that in our office, and again, I don't want to speak for the other organization, but just want to let you know that we've been in communication and are kind of trying to connect groups and organizations. The other question I had was for folks who will need storage, or folks who will need survival materials or help moving, who's the point of contact for folks who want to help? Like, if we have volunteers, so direct them to him.
I think we'll just end up coordinating that, I assume. Yeah.
I do have people who need that, specifically need storage.
I was going to say, if we can get kind of specifications on that, I'm happy to put out a call to see if we can get folks who have storage and other resources.
The best person, if you go through them though, is also get my info, because I'm still living there, so I have the best chance to get to people to talk to them if they need storage. So we'll get together and I'll give you my contact info too, because they have to sneak around to get on property.
Well,
I don't.
We can coordinate too, because we have surveys. We know which people needed storage.
Yeah. And then you just so also
transportation support too.
Yeah.
And we also have our release of information forms and things if we need to kind of do things that way. So I just wanted to kind of offer that. I'm mostly here to listen to what people's needs are, but wanted to let you know we everyone here has seen this before and more, and we saw it before also, and so we just want to help in whatever way we can, both on the very nitty-gritty practical side, and then also just information on, as you organize collectively, what kind of structures and information would be most helpful for your organizing.
Other thoughts as we're let's go down a little bit. It's starting to get dark though.
Did you successfully get housing from the policy?
It's a long story. We connected with Reciprocity around that, and part of it, but so we did not directly, but it was more, we actually have social work interns in our office, and actually both of them worked with Reciprocity on just getting people to fill out the forms they needed to fill out and things like that. So it's kind of a longer story that does not have an easy answer, but we worked with the folks who were working with folks to get housing, if that makes sense. So it's more resource connection.
I'm hearing that paperwork is a huge part of this, and so that there has to PO boxes have been mentioned before. Would there be some sort of way to raise money to buy PO boxes, or
I don't know how that does anything for the next week. We're talking about a week.
No, we were talking about a solution for if it doesn't go. If we don't get housing in the next, what are the next direct steps?
Sure, but they will be kicking out the 100-something people from the hotel. But in terms of,
just
longer term, you mean, to support people?
Whoever doesn't make it during those 100, so that we can keep in contact with them, and so people can still get resources and not get interrupted with their social security process.
So you're saying for people who are going to leave the hotel and be sent to shelters or go to the streets, if we would still before that happens, have a P.O. box available for everybody so that regardless of where you end up, you know, you have an option to receive mail and to continue case management services.
We could ask residents if that's helpful. For some of these things, I think we're just going to have to turn it into a type of a survey to ask residents directly whether things are helpful, because that's a situational sort of thing, whether that's, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's places that people can get mail, like the St. Francis Center, you can get mail, the gathering, you can get mail, and not, you don't have to have a place. That's your address. You have to go out once a week, I think. St. Francis Center is once a week. I don't know about the others.
So, how are people feeling about kind of transitioning to thinking now action steps? We've got a whole shit ton. It's like 2 boards full of ideas of things that could be done. But somebody's got to do all this stuff.
I will.
And,
I'm Aggie.
Yes. So let's think a little bit about kind of like how we move into to getting shit done, the action stage. And Dawn, you wanted to say something?
I will commit to calling 20 nonprofits who focus on housing in the metro area and seeing if they have any openings.
Woo! That's huge. Yeah.
It's so good to see you, man.
I will report to Therese.
That's awesome. That's sweet. Yeah, that's a great example.
I'm okay
leading
too,
by
I
example
guess.
there. Follow Dom's example. Good commitment. That was awesome.
20 nonprofits with like properties. Is that what it is?
Yeah, properties.
Okay.
To ask for openings.
Okay.
Cool. Well, anybody else want to do like what Dawn does? Offer to help like that. That's awesome.
What if we created a master list?
You get pictures.
Yeah, I did. I got a picture. If we created a master list, I got a photo of this, by the way. I'll send out a photo. If we create a master list of these nonprofit properties, are there other individuals who can commit to calling a certain number? So that's one action item, is calling nonprofits. So, okay, we're going to keep your hands up. We're going to record how many you commit to calling, okay?
So Dawn committed to 20.
Yeah.
We got Marianne over here. All of them. That's a big.
I'll make the list.
And Dawn's even
Dawn's making the list. Yes.
I'm like this. Hey, man, I ain't even homeless. Can you like tell me what the fuck is going on? And then I'm not even homeless. Like, I man, because that was what all night is moved to the States.
Well, let's save the song for the end. We're in a good mode here. We're rolling here.
Okay, so, Dawn,
Alright, look at this.
make list of nonprofits, of property nonprofits, right?
Yeah. As Dee's writing down those notes, thinking of all the things we've talked about, other things that people want to step up on. I love this example that Dawn gave. So yeah, let's say like, I can take on this.
We need a person that draws the agendas up, okay? Like, if I had a list of bulletin points, I would handle it all tomorrow in the morning. Do you need me to do this? I'll do it. I'll do it like a few times.
You want me to make you a list of what to do?
Yeah, but we need marching orders, sis.
I can get you a list of what to do.
I think Dawn wants one too, right? You want to call it? Yeah, you know.
I already gave herself a list.
Everything that I can.
Want to do that email?
Yes, okay, so we're going to commit to drafting the email to send out to church organizations. Okay.
You're the boss.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get all the big ones. Then we're gonna go right to
I think it was Don Keurig. Don Keurig was it? Quinique. So Queenic. Don Quinique.
Others, I'll jump in on some things I can commit to. I can commit to putting out a demand letter of sorts, or however we want to phrase that, regarding the extension of the hotel to the end of December in order to give time for creating some of the real solutions that we've already put out. And that then after I create that letter, that I will share it with the broad community, and hoping then that the next action item would be all of you offering to send that and spread that and, you know, make a broader public demand to extend the hotel stay in order to have the time to have the solutions that we need. Is that something? I mean, I'm saying that I can do that, but I also want to see like if that feels like something that people think is a good idea and don't feel good about, especially residents.
Email bomb CCH. Yeah.
Okay. Email, phone, yeah, just.
You know I like harassing them, so sure.
Okay,
I'll
so
email 'em.
Anna, is that a commitment?
Send the message.
I'll send the email. They don't like me anyway.
She said she don't know how to use computer. She don't know. She needs a computer teacher.
Okay, yeah. Okay, other things. I'm trying to think of. There's probably other action items that we're losing in the.
Yeah. I'd be willing to try to also call around for that point of the at the end there when it does get to desperation. Try see if we can find a storage company that would be able to maybe give a discount on like a couple of storage units.
Well, did we say though that potentially you have some people with support for storage?
Well, we can
A call.
We can put out a call. I think we need to understand kind of what the storage needs are. Put out a call for those specific things, and then get folks to contact you.
I've lost 2 storage units.
He's saying he has or he wants? Lost. Okay. Yeah.
So there is that fear. Yeah.
Everything.
Failure to pay. What was the circumstance for this?
Well, I was in jail for 6 months.
This is why it's important that we keep in contact with them. We can advocate for the future unwanted vacations in the jail. To advocate for them.
I think another thing that I don't want to be, I'm excited about, we're just kind of putting it out there, but we can do it. We got to do what we got to do, but like, anyway, sorry, I'll let that go. Point being is, it sounds like there is a likelihood that we will need some money, you know, for potential storage, for potential gear, for potential, you know, moving costs. Like there's probably going to be some money needed for just this whole fucking transition. So, you know, if anybody is excited about that kind of thing, like doing GoFundMe, just fundraising kind of stuff, we probably will want to do something in that line.
I think if we take Dawn Clinique's idea about her church, I take my idea about the Catholics, we coordinate on that. Catholic people will be more than happy to have a service appeal during Mass. Having a Mass in town. I'm serious. I'm part of a gang, but I'm down with the Jesus gang.
Someone on Facebook recommended peaceful protest.
Just do it. We just gotta do it. We gotta do things. Like, for example, I was married on a motorcycle with a baby. And my Catholic church put out a call.
We could talk about, I would like to know, are residents interested in any kind of like protest support? Are there people that are planning on staying at the hotel past September 16th? That we have heard from some folks who, if you know, who are wanting to stay, who don't have plans. So that's a direct question to residents.
Which you don't have to answer right now, but tell us at some point.
At some point. Like if you need a ride to your new hotel, I'll help pack your belongings. For anyone that's been told that I'm trying to hurt homeless people, don't listen. I noticed today Alice was about to get in Misha's car, and then it's like she reconsidered it, and I'm getting a lot of reports today that I want to jail homeless people. Number one, what? Number two, why are we talking about that? They don't even have anything to take. What? Okay, so if you've heard those things, they are not true. It doesn't matter who told you. I told you it's not. So who's more likely to be the truth teller? The one who stands in front of everyone and proclaims, or sneaks around?
So as we're kind of coming towards the end here, I want to continue on with what we're doing of like writing down action steps and people that are willing to do things and so on. But I also want to reopen if any residents, just make space again, if any residents wanted to say anything you're thinking of, ideas that you've come up with, or something you want to say specifically you need support with, anything from any residents at this moment? If not, that's fine, just wanted to check. Okay.
I also want to reiterate, Don, what you had asked. You said that, you know, you have some funds and you're looking for a bedroom or a basement room for rent. So that is an action item, right? So folks, you know, if you know people in the community who have rooms, potentially just keep an eye out, or, you know, try to put that ask out in your circles.
Yeah, and a big thing too is going to be just like putting asks out. Like, we're going to have concrete things we're hearing from residents, like I need X, Y, or Z. And so if we can spread those asks, then we have all those more people that might have access to those needs.
These new positions we want to create, I'm seeing right now a need for various positions, obviously. But for example, a person that is coordinating, I'm so tired. What you just said about whoever wants to be involved with getting help transitioning, like to reach out, we need a person like in charge of that. A person in charge of who is just, I want to call it a focus specialist, because we specialize on whatever you need to focus on. Something like that, right? You want to say specialist, it sounds like a doctor. You don't want to say case manager or something that sounds like something they hate already. Focus specialist. I specialize in focusing on your needs. And I would maybe like if we could draft real quick a list of potential positions, just jot a couple, maybe 3 ideas. You would have maybe a like logistics person where it's like, hey, these people over here I heard need this ride, and we can do it on this day, and someone needs to be in charge of that. Teresa, you'll try to do it all, and you know you can't, but you'll try because that's your heart. B, stop killing yourself right now. You're working way too fucking much. Way too much. You're putting one address on a flyer and one on email. Stop working too much. Let me help you, please. So like maybe a focus specialist. One would be the logistical person. One would be a security, like, you know, any organization, you would have the administrator type person, which is kind of like you. But I volunteer as tribute. So I'm in charge of all the babies kids.
So to Shay's point, like in this next week, we could use that kind of help. So if there's people that are able to, you know, really step up this next week and be like, no, I'm going to be point on the logistics for transportation, or I'm going to be point on communicating these housing options to residents in need, or I'm going to, you know, like take point on these different things, you know, definitely reach out and like say that you can take point on those kinds of things.
Like, why didn't we have the young socialists at the city hall meeting for a show of force? They'd already offered it because you're working too much.
Other things before we wrap up. We're getting to a time of closure. I see a hand over here.
We had an idea because a lot of it seems like the different places that people are transitioning to are not close to current like pharmacies or places to get the medications or things that they need. So if we could have like a group meet so that people could always get rides so that they could get the resources they need.
You need to benefit from a 6-week wellness coach class. You get a certificate girl please, boy please.
Do you want to create like a GoFundMe and like add some of the contacts, and we can add some people too, and it could be like a Yeah, or what did you say? You said create a group for that, right? Or whatever you think. Yeah, if you want to help me do that, yeah. Okay, we'll work on it together then.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
ultimate that. We could do it.
Okay, yeah.
We could even make a signal group to make people feel safer. I don't know. It's
Okay.
Whatever makes people feel safer.
Signal group. What does that mean? Mish, do you spell Mish M-I-C-H?
M-E-E-S-H.
Okay.
Oh my
Like
God.
Mish.
Yes. Marry me. Like
I always just say it. Okay.
But like kind of.
Okay, so coordinate with me to create that.
Sorry. Yes. Medication.
Yeah. Transportation. Stores.
For appointments or for medications. That could be a whole community. That could be coordinated with clinics.
Okay.
I would like to be a case management and administrative liaison.
Okay, I think we are.
Period.
We are at our closing, and we had a wonderful offer to close us in a song. Do people want to have a closing and a song? You still want to close us in a song? Yeah, you said you offered to sing a song, and I said you could close us. All right, but let me just check first really fast. Is there anything else? Anything else we need to say before we close out?
Thank you.
It's, you know how I know it? I don't want to say that bad habit.
Yeah, I can also text you as well.
Not to me. I personally don't
have the other ones.
Yeah, I got them.
Oh, you got the other ones?
Let's do that. Let's keep it going. We got work to do. This next week is a lot of work. Let's press on. But you're going to close us with a song. Thank you.
Yeah, every night on Sunday and Wednesday, I go to Scoppy Murphy. I'm a singer. I'm a ballet player. I play sax and all that. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Every Wednesday, I go to Scoppy Murphy. I go to La Rumba on Friday. Tonight, they're waiting for me. So this song is beautiful. This song means, en tus manos yo aprendí a beber el agua. I mean, the Lord give you the water of the life. Okay. Ahí le va. Perdone, no hay instrumento, pero I'll try the best I can.
Okay.
En tus manos yo aprendí a beber agua. Fui gorrión que se quedó preso en tu jaula, porque yo corté mis alas, porque yo con el altar era tan poco y no, yo te amaba. Fue mi canto para ti, siempre completo. Sin ti no pude volar en otro cielo. Lo que un día fue no será. I'm sorry, I've been drinking. Ya no vuelvas a buscarme. No tengo nada, no tengo nada, no tengo nada. See that difference? De tu alpiste me can. Pero dale, de.
No más cerveza.
Oh, muchachas.
Thank you, Glory.
Awesome. And before you leave,
I tried,
make sure you put your contact info down. If you didn't get contact info, put it down.